Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're looking at the wrong screen. That is the screen that I want, I think. I'm messing up everything. Can you guys hear me? Yes, you can hear me. That's good. Okay, don't worry, guys. We're starting up. We've had some technical difficulties in the break. I'm not sure what that was. My stream just crashed for reasons unknown. But I managed to fix them. And we are back in time for the Imperial Age groups. Yes, we will see Aquila versus The Fate. We will see KMA versus Totaldo. And we will see Whopper Snore versus Flojo. The Imperial Age group will be the last group to be revealed in the first round of the group stage. And I'm very excited to see. We've had some slower games in the Castle Age. And I hope that maybe we can see some more explosive games here in the Imperial Age group. Maybe get some aggressive plays up in here. So without any further ado, let's load up that first game that will be Aquila versus The Fate. Give the game a moment to load, and then I'll take you to the game screen. Yes. On the bottom side, in blue, it is Aquila as the Byzantines. Ooh. On the top side, it is in red, The Fate as the Japanese. Yes, the Japanese versus the Byzantines. Very interesting map indeed. We see the sides of the map being blocked off in choke points by the tree lines. Very nice wall opportunities here. Very nice opportunities to get naval priority. The name of the game, the name of the map, naval priority, and force your opponent on the land. Before we will do much of anything, we will of course go to the civilization bonuses, and I will start with the Byzantines that we have already seen before. One second. Yes, the Byzantines, of course, a defensive civilization with bonus extra HP on their buildings. You can use the buildings to make a wall of. The exact opposite of what my friend Aquila is doing right here. To use the buildings as a wall of and to buy yourself that much more time from the aggression that your opponent is putting out. And then we have, of course, the camel, skirmisher, pikeman and halberdier cost that is reduced by a minus 25%. That makes that Imperial Age and that post-late game what we've talked about already in the Castle Age group that much more potent. There are trash units in there. Units that don't cost gold are considered trash units because you can build a lot of them and not much valuable resources have to be spent. And pikemen and halberdiers and skirmishers are indeed trash units, so strong post-late game for that. And then we have the fire ship that have plus 20% attack. Very strong, very potent here on a map like Baltic, where the naval priority, there we have it again, is so important. So interested to see if the fire ships will come out for Aquila. And then we have the advance to the Imperial Age cost reduction. Very, very useful to get to that stage where the Byzantines really shine with the cataphract, what I will get to shortly. We have the Town Watch for free, which also ties in to that defensive-minded civilization that can watch their opponents come from afar and react to their aggression just that more. Then we have, of course, the Cataphract, a very strong unit, one of the signature units, I would like to say, in the Age of Empires, because it's so strong. It does trample damage, which means it does area of effect damage at the units that it's attacking, and it actually denies anti-cavalry bonuses. So that means that pikemen, for instance, do less damage versus Cataphracts than they would against other cavalry units. So very interesting niche unit there. And I like niche units, especially when they're used in the correct situation. Then you have the unique tech, which is Logistica, which gives your cataphracts that trample damage that I was talking about earlier. So a civilization that likes to turtle up for a long time and then come out with the cataphracts, and when the gold is gone, just run you over with the post-imperial trash units, which are the skirmishers and the halberdiers, of course. So that is it for the Byzantines. Then on the other side, we have The Fate, playing as the Japanese. Now, I don't think we've seen the Japanese before this tournament, so we'll go through them a little bit slower. The Japanese is an infantry civilization. I like the pick for this map because, as you can see at the first bonus, it's an infantry civilization that also has some naval capabilities there. You have the fishing ship that have the 2 times hit points. they also have more armor, more work rate. So the armor and the hit points are a bit whatever, because it's a little binary in the situation of the fishing ships. You lose them all, or you don't lose anything because you have naval priority. But the work rate is certainly something very interesting, and we will see indeed the Fate going for the docks here, I think, or some real strange bailing players. Nope, it will be the docks, so he will make use of these efficient fishing ships right away, which is very good. Then we have the mill and lumber camp and mining camp cost reduced with 50%, which is a lot. It really saves you up so much wood in the early stages of the game, and this is real nice. It's another bonus that really gives you that versatility in the game, and versatility in a game like Age of Empires is so important to make yourself unpredictable and gives yourself more room to do something. And the Fate realizes that he did something which he's not happy about, and I am not sure what it is. Maybe it is that his villager got killed by the boar. Not sure. Well, shouldn't really worry too much, because Aquila is doing interesting stuff over here. We will talk about that later. Then we have the infantry attack increase with 25%, starting with the feudal age. Very nice, and that's one of the reasons why the Japanese are such a strong infantry civilization, with the samurai, a really interesting unit that has bonus damage versus unique units like the Cataphract or the Janissary or the Berserker, one of the unique units we have seen, the units that are unique to the civilization. They have bonus damage against that, really cool. Then you have the unique technology, which is the Kataparuto, the trebuchet's fire and pack faster. How much faster? Really fast, I can promise you that. Maybe we will see some trebuchets this game. It's insane. You can load and unload so quick. You can nearly kite with trebuchets. Really handy bonus there. And then you have the team bonus, which is that galleys have plus 50% line of sight. This is so strong. Again, slowly starting to speak Dutch again, but you guys bear with me. It's really handy because you can spot the galleys that much earlier and position your galleys better earlier than your opponent can, making your naval wars that much more efficient. So it's a really nice, really strong bonus in my opinion, and I really love the Japanese. I love the versatile civilizations that can put out a lot of different strategies and can really play with that early game. And when you have that bonus of the fishing ship gathering more food, and you have to spend less wood on the buildings that you have to build, and your infantry is stronger, it creates some really interesting possibilities. So Japanese, also one of these really versatile, interesting civilizations, really unpredictable, and can pull something out of their head every time. And make it work. I really like that about the Japanese, and we will have to see what the Fate uses of these bonuses. So an infantry civilization, but also a naval civilization, I would like to argue. There we see the Fate at a minute 11, a very respectable feudal timing there from the Fate, while his opponent is not even clicked up yet, is even doing farms while having the brush there, and I'm pretty sure he also has something to hunt. Did he do everything? No, there's sheep there, he does have his deer over there, and he does have 2 boars and a deer over there, so missing out on all those free foodies and just spending his wood on the farms. And while his opponent is saving wood from these buildings and also has not made any farms yet, which is really good, there's also a real big advantage there for the Fate. We can see that translated in the points. 400 point advantage for the Fate. We see a house going down. Well, I really like how the Fate is playing, actually making a second lumber camp, something you see a lot of players do. The reason he does this is to improve the efficiency. Well, there is some clumping going on there because the placement is a little bit unfortunate, but this will reduce the clumping of the villager units. The only problem here is that he built it so that it's really hard to protect this lumber camp. So if there was an opponent that would come with maybe scouts or maybe some units, it's really hard to wall this off and make your villagers not die. So don't really like that. Here it's a little bit easier. Can wall it off here, can wall it off here, can wall it off here. Or he actually walled it off here with another lumber camp. So he's really about that efficiency. Funny to see, because the other game with Nodori Wildell, not so much efficiency going on. But here we see the efficiency. Well, also we see Aquila going Feudal Age at a minute 14. That is a little bit late. It can be justified when you're going dark, when you go dark rush or drush and build the militia and attack with it. But he's not really doing much of anything, so that's a little bit late, I'm afraid. And we also see the first galleys coming out for the Fate, taking that naval priority, making sure that his opponent cannot make use and take advantage of all this nice fish in the sea. And here we will surely see the first signs of the strategy that the Japanese player, the Fate, will use. Well, it's not Japanese, but you know what I mean. He made a blacksmith, but he didn't really make anything else military. I think he made it to go fletching for his galleys. Yes, he did. So he doubled down. He doubled down on the galleys without really knowing if his opponent would answer to it. So the fletching wasn't really necessary in this situation because his opponent didn't really have anything to react with. So I don't really like that. But, well, maybe being a little bit overcritical since our friend here is 700 points ahead. And Aquila is not really... Well, he's doing sweet fuck all, people. Let's be honest. This is absolutely... This house placement, absolutely abysmal. Please, people, stop doing this. Build your houses or in a circular form around your base or in a wall-off position to protect your villagers from getting killed. We see all these sheep from the Fate being idle. Only these two. And we see some interesting villager placement. The Fate does have loom, so he won't have any trouble killing this wolf, but interested to see what he will do. I am suspecting, judging from the zero amount of production buildings here, and I think the fact that he isn't, I don't think he is building any more. No, he's not building anything, so he's really saving up these resources, and I think we will see, yep, we will see forward racks and some aggressive building placement there for the Fate, and we will see some very early, relatively early, especially for this day, early aggression, and the Fate will actually make use of the faster attacking feudal age infantry that the Japanese have. So already mining some stone, mining some gold, and just now starting to build the farm. As you can see, he just now needed to start up the farms. You can see how much time the Fate has been able to save to build his first farms, and he didn't have to use any of this wood to build farms and build other buildings. For instance, double racks in front of the base of your enemy. Well, Aquila already had to spend so much wood on this. His opponent already has a wood advantage with the bonuses from the Japanese. So really good stuff there. Unfortunately, a supply block, but nothing really too bad. We see an archery range. I like it very much. Get that unit variety in. But I would like to see him. Yeah, he wants to make units, but he can't. Very interested in the choice to go with Spearman. Actually see if the Fate scouted his... Wait, is this... Oh, he scouted the entire map, which is interesting. That's really quick. That's really fast. But it's such a shame that he scouted the map so well and that he's not using the information. Because as you can see, he's making the Spearman. Well, I guess he killed the scout, but that is the only cavalry unit his opponent has. In fact, his opponent doesn't really have a military building. He can only make infantry with the building he just finished. So, a bit of an unfortunate unit selection there for our friend the Fate, but nonetheless, he's on top. He's 1,000 points ahead, even more. And he will soon, I'm sure, attack He's really pressure-minded player, so it seems. And I think, in my opinion, the correct way to play the Japanese in this map. They have chances to dominate on the sea, and they certainly have chances to dominate on land, especially in that late stages of the feudal age. I would like to see some click-ups to the castle age already, but both players not really ready for that. I'm imagining the Fate wants to put some more resources into that army. Has a lot of gold. Actually, he's putting more villagers on gold despite the enormous gold bank. But we'll have to see if Aquila has any answer to this aggression. A questionable tower positioning from Aquila. It is absolutely protecting nothing whatsoever. It's protecting the gold that he's not mining. It's, well, not even protecting the stone he's not mining. And it's also not protecting the houses that are in the way of where the farm should be. And the town center that's not has no farms around them. We see actually another town watchtower over here. Some very defensive watchtowers. And here we will actually see the army of the Fate reaching the camp, the base of Aquila. And Aquila actually electing to build another watchtower, which is not really a correct decision here in my opinion, because you guys might know there is a upgrade known as murder holes, and if you did not upgrade murder holes, your towers cannot attack directly beneath themselves. So if you attack a tower from below itself, it cannot attack it unless you have upgraded murder holes. Here we see a clash, a spearman versus spearman clash. That's something I have not seen, I think, ever. But here it is. And the spearmen, of course, of Aquila will die, will be outnumbered. And the farms that have been built, that shouldn't have been built, will also be destroyed. And all that wood will be lost. More spearmen will go out. And why are you building more spearmen? They have spears. They're good versus horsemen, not good versus people. Build men-at-arms. Defend your base. Again, Aquila electing to finish that watchtower. He's not actually collecting any stone, which means, well, oh, he did collect any stone. I stand corrected. So he has a lot of stone in the bank that he could use to build more towers. But at some point he really has to make more units, to make more defensive formations with his buildings. That's what the Byzantines are so good at, and get himself to that late game. But it's not what will happen. Actually, I like this house placement way better than I like this. He built the houses and the blacksmith in his base a little bit willy-nilly, which is a shame. Just build it in a circular formation and get yourself the positional advantage of your buildings. He did do it here though, so once the the potential armies of Aquila will go up and try to fend off against this forward base, he has some advantages there. Can easily wall it off here, and just stand behind his racks and then shoot from there. But we'll see a second push actually coming in from the Fate, while his first army is still alive and kicking and just having at it at these units. Another ring from Aquila actually now running to the nearest towers, which is nice in on itself, I guess, but still not sure about this. A lot of spearmen still being built for Aquila. Not the unit you want to see there. Because not only are your spearmen ineffective, the spearmen of your enemy are also better because they attack 25% faster, as we've seen with the bonuses. So really, it's looking so. I've had a long weekend, guys. A fun weekend, but a long weekend, and I guess it's been a bit too much for me. Nonetheless, what I wanted to say is, it's looking bad for our friend Aquila. Here we see exactly what I meant. These units will not get attacked because the murder hole upgrade is not researched. In fact, he cannot research it because you need a university and castle age for that. We see castle age for the Fate actually, so he will go up at minute 27, which is a bit late. But considering the units he made, it is there is very good reason for that. Still, he is neatly patrolling the shores of his opponents, making sure there are no sneak docks in there, no sneak navy being built to regain that navy prowess. See, as we speak, we see some villagers being reassigned. And I see a transport ship here. What will he do? Now he will pass the transport ship. Will he make another wood line? It seems that he will make another wood line and not allow his villagers to clump up anywhere. So that's real good stuff. That's real good stuff. Building his deposit buildings as close as possible. Look at that. So really paying attention to that efficiency of his base. Real nice stuff there from the Fate. And meanwhile, the towers of Aquila seem to have fended off the aggression that was going on. I see a lot of dead bodies over here. I'm not sure how that happened, because again, if he had left his units around his tower right here, he would have just survived it. So interesting to see, and maybe a bit of a shame that they died. Wasn't really any reason for that. It seems like some units have pulled back. The upgrades are coming in, and we have some elite skirmishers there and some men-at-arms. A better composition for the push. Also a forward castle. Again, would have liked it over here next to the base of Aquila. The Fate knows that he has an advantage on the sea and on land, so he knows he could have just forced that castle in there without really having any kind of contest, but nevertheless and nonetheless elects to place his castle here and actually also go for a siege workshop while his units are upgraded to longswordsmen. He still has archers though, not actually upgrading them, so that's a shame. Crossbowmen and the stage very potent, extra range, have extra damage, really strong units to pick off your spearmen of your enemy, and of course those pesky villagers. Here we will see the tower being attacked, and towers in the feudal age aren't really that strong. They are buildings and people are afraid of them, but you can just cut them down if you have enough longswordsmen, as you see here. So that tower will easily go down, and we will see how Aquila will react to that now that his tower strategy seemed to have failed him. We see an archery range going down. A questionable decision since his opponent has made elite skirmishers, which are so good versus that range unit. Why? Well, they have the pierce armor. They have a 4 base pierce armor of themselves, plus that +1 from the blacksmith. So it reduces all the damage they take from arrows by 5. They also have an attack bonus. It doesn't say it here. That's the way Age of Empires work, but they do have an attack bonus versus archers. It makes them even stronger versus the archers. So making archers in this situation is really not the way to go, in my opinion. Nevertheless, he's making skirmishers, which can be handy to fend off against the longswordmen, I guess. All the towers will soon go down. I think Aquila would draw the conclusion that tower defense is not really the game he is playing. And it's also not really that effective in Age of Empires, not in this manner. Longswordmen will take a lot of hits there. Doesn't really matter, because every minute the Fate's power and control on this map is growing and growing. Actually will put his units in the battering rams in order to protect them, and they always have the samurai, so some special units going down for the Fate. A forward town center. Is that his third? Yes, that is his third town center, so also his economy is going up. And again, a game where one guy has a sweeping victory over the other, and I must say I'm impressed by the Fate's performance here. I didn't know him at all. Never seen him play, and it's looking pretty good. It's looking like he has some basics down of how to build a strong economy. Of course, there are some points to improve on, but for a first game, really not that bad. So interested to see what this player can bring to the tournament, and if he can actually maybe take that first or second spot. If he keeps playing like this, I wouldn't be surprised. And here we see the super fast samurai, and Aquila decides that is the last straw and will actually resign, and I think he is right to do so, because this was a game completely in the hands of the Fate, completely the Fate's game to lose, and no surprises there. So really good performance for the Fate there. My compliments. As I said, you can see that he has the basics down of how to build a strong economy, and interested to see if he can contest that first or second place for the group. Now if we go to the stats again, I don't really like looking at the stats with games like these, so I really won't. Good timing there from the Fate. Castle Age was a bit late, could be better. Let's not be too critical of him, because he did really well. Here we see the graph showing the dominance of the Fate. And then we will quickly move on to the next game, which will be a game that has been sent in rather late. I have absolutely no idea. Well, actually, I don't have any idea how any of the games went, but some people tell me how the game went, but I do not know how this game went, and I have absolutely no idea how good these players are. So I'm really interested to see if there are any match. Let me load it up real fast. It will be KMA versus Total, though. The second game and the fifth game of the day, the second game of this Imperial Age group. We've seen the Fate taking the first point in this group and taking the lead, and we will see who will follow him. Will it be KMA or will it be Totaldo? I realize I say Totaldo and Totaldo at the same time, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so we'll just have to go with both. That's how life goes sometimes. And as you can hear, I've loaded up the game, and the players have started to build their first houses. And I hope, yes, it will switch to the screen. And here we see both players already playing. Let me switch to the correct screen. There we go. In the bottom side, in blue, it is the KMA with a name I will not pronounce, playing as the Spanish. In the top side, as red, it is Totaldo or Totaldo, Tomato, playing as the Persians. Now, the Persians, we've already seen them, and the Spanish, we've already seen them too in the first game day, which was Tuesday. Nevertheless, we will go through this real quick, starting with the Spanish. It is the Spanish, the gunpowder and monk civilization, of course, from the southern realms of Europe. They have builders that work 30% faster, really nice to build the wall-offs quicker, and we have seen them today a couple of times actually. The forward buildings, the aggressive buildings get down faster, and you can build those units just that tiny bit more faster, so real nice bonus, neat bonus there. Then we have an even more interesting bonus for the Spanish, which is those blacksmith upgrades that don't cost any gold. So you can make real strong units and use the upgrades you upgrade for the units, and you can make, for instance, knights, and you can make more knights because you have more gold, because you didn't have to spend it on blacksmith upgrades. See how that works? Real nice bonus. There we have the cannon galleons that benefit from ballistics, which means they fire more accurate. Maybe a good chance to explain what ballistics actually do. So once a archer shoots, it shoots at the place. There was no real way to show it right now, but we'll have to do. It shoots at the place where the unit is at the point when the archer is shooting. So once the unit moves away, the arrow will just stick in the ground. But when you research ballistics, the archers will actually aim at the point where they think the unit will go. So if the unit is walking in a straight line, the arrow will not miss, but it will actually hit the target. And for this it means that cannon galleons will also use that technology and actually follow the unit. So they are so much more effective against against units and against ships. It makes them actually a viable unit to fight with in naval combat. So cannon galleons from the Spanish are really interesting units actually, and maybe we'll see them this game. But every time I've said that maybe we'll see the unit, I think we've not seen it at all, or not really in a relevant manner. So unlucky, I guess. Nevertheless, we have the unique unit, which is the Conquistador. Very strong unit, a mounted gunpowder unit. It doesn't really get any better than that. Masked up Conquistador are so scary because they can kite you down and shoot you down with their strong gunpowder attacks. And then we have the missionary, really strange monk unit, a mounted monk, but with a couple of disadvantages. You don't really see him too often, and I think that's for a good reason. Not really a strong, useful unit. Could use a few buffs in my opinion. Then we have the hand cannoneers and the bombard cannons, and they fire 15% faster, which is awesome. Doesn't really include Conquistador, which is kind of a shame. But I guess that if you for some reason switch to hand cannoneers, they have that bonus, so that is nice. Then we have the unique tech, which is Supremacy, which makes your villagers better in combat, and they actually make them a lot better. They can they compare to longswordsmen, so that's pretty good. It's a really interesting tech, and you can really catch your opponent off guard with the technology if used in the right situation. But you don't see it too often because, as you know, well, you have to build villagers then, or use your villagers mining resources, so not really something you want to do too often. Then you have the team bonus that the trade units generate plus 33% gold, a really awkward bonus in a 1v1 situation because you cannot make, well, you can make trade units, but you cannot use them in any way, so not really a good bonus there, but interesting in team games. Then on the other side, we do not have the Spanish, but we have, I believe, I forgot, yes, it were the Persians. Persians, we already seen. Ionic play them in the in the Dark Age group. They are a cavalry civilization starting with 50 wood and 50 foot, so a little bit of a stronger start. Really nice, gives you a little bit more option, a little bit room for error perhaps in that early stages of the game. We actually see the first dock going down here for Total though, and claiming the sea for his own. While KMA is making his first mill and getting the berries down here. A lot of villagers on wood actually, but no attempt to actually make a dock of any sort. So interested to see how that's going to turn out. Some sheep watching into the darkness. Not sure what they see, if is it legit darkness or maybe lands that we are not allowed to see, who knows. Anyway, was talking about the Persians. Town centers and docks have more hit points, which is interesting if you are doing some rush tactics, or sometimes when people are doing some forward town center shenanigans, it could be awesome. But in general, not too much of a useful bonus. The work rate, however, is very useful. Your villagers get put out faster, and I tried to fact check this, but I don't think the uptime of your age is faster. I don't think you're aging faster. I tried to look it up. I couldn't really find it anywhere, but I don't think it counts. So it's only the villagers and the loom upgrade and the other upgrades, of course, that are produced faster. Then you have the unique unit, which is the War Elephant, a really tanky frontline unit. It can do a lot of damage, but it's mainly used to just be that front line for your ranged units, maybe archers, maybe cavalry archers, whatever you would like. Then you have the Mahouts. It gives your elephants that much more speed, which gives them more chance to actually fight against infantry, because they're very slow without the upgrade, and with your upgrade they can actually contest with some infantry. Not the Celts, of course, they are too fast still, but other civilizations, they are very handy. Then the last bonus is that the knights have +2 attack versus archers. Like I said the previous time, I don't really like this bonus. It's kind of, you already completely destroy archers, and once you reach the archers, like, the problem is, if you're having issues with archers, is that you cannot reach them because you are outnumbered. But once, if you can actually reach the archers, you absolutely destroy them. So this bonus doesn't really help them that much, in my opinion. Would have seen like maybe a arrow reduction or something to make them more effective against archers. But this bonus is a bit random, in my opinion. But the Persians overall, I like the civilization. They are very strong in the late game, have a very strong cavalry tree. Actually, they can build, I think, every unit in the cavalry tree, so a lot of options there. We actually see now a first dock for KMA going down. And we will have to see, because both units are just producing fishing ships. They're not making any, well, they cannot make galleys, but making any attempt to make more docks. If once you are planning on making naval priority a thing, you may want more docks than one, because you want to make sure you make more galleys than your opponent does. And there we see Toteldo taking the lead with the first feudal age, but we will see KMA going after that real quick. Toteldo is actually 200 points ahead already, so that is interesting. We will have to see if he will make use of that lead. Both players not really showing any hand in terms of strategy. As I said, we see a single dock and both players now feudal age as we speak, and not really any attempt to do any aggression. So it's looking like we'll have another slow game on our hands here. Would have liked the deer to actually be next to a mill, so if this is one of your issues, that your villagers have to walk this far to collect the food, just build a mill. It's really worth the wood. And if you don't want to spend the wood and you're believing in your mechanics, you can actually select your scout. Where's his scout? Did it get killed? No, it's over here. You can select your scout, and you can walk up to the deer, and you can scare the deer to your town center. You cannot really control the deer, but once you, they always try to walk into the in a general opposite direction of you. Which I mean by that is that he will. Maybe we will see it happen right here. Ooh, we might be lucky. Yeah. So as you see, they're walking away from the scout. Nice that it's happening right now. And with that, you can steer them through your town center or to your mill, and then kill the deer, and then make that farming real efficient. But it's a real time-consuming effort that may cause you to lose control of other situations, like idle villagers, building placement, aggression, all that kind of jazz. And we actually see KMA doing something that I advised so many times, and he will wall off the closest spot of the map here, and he's also building naval priority, so that is going very well from our KMA friend here, from our Spanish friend. We'll finish this wall off, and he will be able to defend these walls with his galleys, and we will have to see if he will do the same with the left side, because if he doesn't, it isn't really going to have any effect whatsoever. Despite the wall off and the galleys for KMA, not really any sign of other units being built. We see KMA going for that defensive play, which is not wrong, because he is the Spanish, and the Spanish like to get to that late game, like to get that mass conquistador for themselves, and then just run over your opponent with the power of gunpowder units. But the Persians are also not that bad on the late game. In the late game, not at all actually. As I said, they have a strong cavalry, which can be a very good counter against the conquistador. All those armored paladins or cavaliers, even, they can just tear through those conquistador if not microed correctly. Here we see some idle villagers everywhere, painful stuff. A single gold miner. Not wrong. I mean, it is minute 18. It is time, if you're doing nothing, to go castle age. And, well, he has the food, but he does not have the gold. So Toteldo might want to try and put some more villagers on gold there in order to get to that castle age faster and get those town centers out faster. And in KMA's case, he's not even near the amount of resources he needs for the castle age. He's actually walling off another point of the map where he can easily defend it with his boats. Would have liked this position more because it's a little bit more closer to his base and a little bit more manageable, but this is also absolutely fine. So we will here see a KMA actually denying his opponent any chance of getting to him, because with the 4 galleys and the 2 walls, there's absolutely no way Totaldo can actually reach his base. So he's feeling nice and safe and has some options to go castle now and build himself these town centers, these castles, and start massing up the Conquistador. I'm guessing that that's what he is planning. Here we still have Totaldo being and supply blocked and not mining any gold. So really, for no reason, delaying that castle timing. Is getting himself some stone though. You want some stone to build the town centers and build the castles, but it doesn't really make any sense when you're not getting castle or not making any effort to get castle. We do see, however, a barracks. First land military production building of the game at minute 20. Very late, very slow game indeed. We actually see the response wall of for Totaldo here. He didn't actually know. It's not technically a response because he doesn't know. So both players here adhering to the main strategy that this map generally sees. And here we see KMA finishing both wall-offs first. He probably does see the wall-off of his opponent. Yes, he does. So he knows his opponent is doing the same thing. And if I was KMA, this would be the chance for me to maybe get this villager here and try to make it to the other side as fast as possible, and maybe make some surprise buildings in the back of his base and just buy some time for myself, because that's the whole strategy KMA is trying to do here. Buy time, getting my opponent to not reach my base, make some units, and maybe waste his time dealing with my units while I'm here in my base getting. Please go Castle Age. He has the resources. Go Castle Age. It's really important that you go Castle Age, KMA. And also you, Totaldo, you both have the resources. Go Castle Age. And fight. Fight for that point. For that first point in the tournament. We hear a unit being created. Actually multiple units. We have, again, Spearmen. In this situation, not too strange in terms of counter pick, considering that the Spanish can sometimes spend their resources on cavalry archers or other cavalry. Cavalry archers are a bit strong versus spearmen, but once you're not microing, spearmen are very effective. So in that regard, not a wrong pick, but still, why the spearmen? You didn't really see cavalry from your opponent. You really didn't see much of anything. And spearmen are really useless when they cannot attack any cavalry. So do not really get why so many people are building the spearmen. And I think this is Totaldo making an attempt to make it to the other side of the map. Or he will move to the left side of his camp. And we will have to see. He didn't click up to the Castle Age, and neither did his opponent. Whilst both having the resources to do so, and both playing a civilization that really has to use that Castle Age. That's the mid to late game is really where these two civilizations shine. See a double wall here actually for Totaldo, so no real way for KMA to actually move up there. Now we actually see a extra dock for our Persian player and some galleys, so Totaldo will actually attempt to contest his navy. Very interesting. For the first time in the tournament, I think we will see a classic Balkan game, as I have seen him so many times, where we'll see a struggle for the naval priority, for a chance to get your units on shore and get to your opponent. Villager will walk up here, will actually kill the wolf. make sure there are no troubles for the villager. And I'm guessing, judging on how he played it in this part of the map, that he will go to this part of the forest and get his wall off there. Does he have vision over it? No, he actually, well, he does see the lines over here, which indicate that there will be wood there, but he didn't really see anything of a real wood line there. So interested to see where he elects to place his walls. Meanwhile, we see this villager doing sweet fuck all. Villager here, villager there, while still not clicking up to the castle age. And he did have the resources for a long time. His opponent KMA did elect to click up and will go to that castle age at a timing of minute 28, which is very late. But his opponent isn't in the castle age too, so it's not really that much of a problem. Yes, as I expected, he will build it here at a choke point. Did he actually spot the wall of his opponent? No, he did not, but I think he will know that his friend already did. So he will gladly also wall off this last bit of shore, and then both players will be walled off. The only real way now to get to your opponent will be the sea. KMA with the castle age timing of, it was minute 27, still late. We'll have to see what both players will pull out. We have a blacksmith here and we have an archery range. And we see some units. Again the spearmen. Both players making spearmen despite not having seen any signs of cavalry. Now the Persians are mainly a cavalry civilization, so I can understand the spearmen, but you really don't want to spend resources in something you're not sure you're going to use in any way. Here we see the aggressive movement for the ships of KMA that have reached that war galley status, and all these fishing ships will be gone. Nothing to do about that. And the naval battle that I was talking about will be, well, will be short. Ouch, does Tortello say, rightfully so, because, well, he's just clicked up to the castle age, and it will be a very long time before he will be castle age and will be actually producing war galleys for himself. While he actually built war galleys, he really has to waypoint his units into the docks in order for them to really gather up and then do a powerful push all together. No, he will get spotted and KMA will actually pick off that galley. So that's all resources wasted, unfortunately, for our Persian friend. And we will see if KMA will build a extra town center. It appears not, which is unfortunate because, as I said, he is the Spanish. He really wants to make that economic boom go. Defensive tower going up for Tortello. Do not disagree with this, but I think it will be a little bit late. He did stockpile his units in the base. It's only one galley. Is he also doing it with this? Yes. So he is stocking these units. And once he will reach the castle age, I'm hoping for him to click up those galleys to war galleys. And let's see if he can do something of a response. He also has the 950 stone. So maybe some of a castle building next to his dock to protect those production buildings. And actually have a shot at making it to have that naval priority. Now, again, KMA not really doing anything with the lead that he has. 200 points, yes. There, oh, we see I thought it would be a town center, but it is not. It is a back siege workshop. Curious to see what he will make out of that. And we see a distant dock over here, a dock away from the battlefield, from the battlefront, from the fire line, and maybe we will see some unit production out of it. Yes, he did click up his units to be war galleys, so we'll get that unit out, and once this dock is too low, the units will come out a little bit too early. KMA, I think he knows what's going on, because he did see these fishing ships go. Yes, and he will spot the dock, and oh, that's unfortunate for Tortello. So also this dock will go down, but he is already producing war galleys, and he will actually move his war galleys up to here and contest that building. Now this is very interesting. We'll actually see a naval battle going on here. And both players, I think, electing to prioritize the resources they are gathering to that wood and gold to pump out these ships. Yes, both players. Well, KMA should have a lot more villagers on gold. Also for your conquistador that you want to make very soon. You can also already make them. Here we see KMA just having these ships, yes, next to the walls. He could maybe just let them fight, but he also already has the advantage, so no real priority there. And it's not looking too good for our Toteldo friend. Let's see if how many units. He is stocking up quite an army, and I don't think KMA is really expecting it, because I cannot really hear any production sound, and he only has one dock. So if Toteldo can actually get this priority, he actually has a big advantage over KMA, and suddenly the tables are turned and KMA will have no way of actually getting to his opponent. So really interesting game in my opinion. And again, one of the first games we actually have a rather classic form of Baltic game, and here we will see the 5 knights. Did he still not scout it? No, I think he did not see the wall of. He will not, so Toteldo will soon find out that this is not the way to go, and that he really needs that naval priority in order to reach his opponent. Or maybe some sneaky transport ship shenanigans, but at this stage I expect that it will be all about the naval fight. KMA actually making the backseat workshop to make a mangonel. And I do not understand the placement of this castle. Please build it in a useful situation, people. Here, right on top of this hill. Bonus damage, protects your gold, protects your farms. Does not really protect your wood, but I would have liked a castle over here, maybe one over there. Meanwhile, he's just slowly chipping away at those houses. And the hype is on, and an unfortunate supply bug there for Toteldo, when his houses are chipped away one by one, and he's just having 72 population out of 65, so he will have to build multiple houses to actually deal with that. Knights, I think he just found out, yep, that there is indeed a wall there, so he cannot cross it, and he really needs that naval priority. KMA only having 5 ships in the fray there. Toteldo is an advantage, and now he will decide that it is go time, and it is time to take back the navy, take back the naval war. Can I get a poggers in chat for this epic naval battle? Oh my god. Well, epic maybe not so much, because Toteldo will completely dominate this naval war, and will get these units to kill the units of his opponent. Maybe an F is indeed more in place. F for the units of KMA. Well, and here we will see a retaliation for Toteldo that has been bullied so long. So much of his houses has been killed. He has been deprived of the chance of actually attacking his opponent on land. And here we see KMA realizing that maybe one dock was not enough and that he really needs more. And yeah, it's not really looking good for his opponent. We see no siege of any degree. And KMA in an attempt to make even a 3rd dock, but it will not be. And even a 4th dock here to the side. Now will Toteldo realize that his opponent is trying to do the exact same thing that he did? Trying to stock up those units. That is something he's not doing. But very interesting game, and where the tables have turned. It's really a shame that KMA did not use his naval priority when he had it, and the units that were just standing still here, just transport them over the sea and really force your enemy to not only react to your naval pressure, but also to the land pressure that you just put on there. So really missed chances there for KMA. we see an Imperial Age for KMA, very interesting. So really ahead on that economic side of the game, but in all other cases it's not really going too well. Actually getting that dock on the side here to have a chance of actually regaining that naval priority, but for now he's a long way off and he's not making any units out of it. So look at these units, 15 to 20 war galleys, really strong composition, well not composition but navy there for Totaldo. Would like to see a reset on the lumberjack for that villager priority. But I think Totaldo is really happy that this is how the game is going as of now, and interested to see how this game will go. I actually don't know. This is the first close game of today, and I'm happy to see that. And I'm not sure who will win this. I'm not sure. Both are solid late game civilizations, and they've already shown that they are a good match. Despite Totaldo being almost 1000 points ahead, it's not really looking like there's much he can do now to kill off his opponent and just give him more time to react to the situation. Now he did make this castle. Totaldo actually attempting to break down these walls, and here the galleys of KMA go, but he's in a pickle because he cannot actually defend this. If he shows these galleys, the navy of Totaldo will just move up and just slay them. So really awkward spot for KMA to be in there. And actually Totaldo taking over the reins here of this side of the lake and actually taking control of this gate. So a chance for Totaldo to actually get on land here. And this will take a long ass time before this is down. So Totaldo really needs or a transport ship or some sort of siege units to deal with that wall. And now this army can just put down pressure, but not much else. It's a shame to see that he doesn't really check for his own strategy, which is building a side dock and then just creating the units. Here we see no farms around the town centers, a shame to see. We see a house being built because housing is still a problem in Totaldo's life. I don't want to know how many times this guy has been supply blocked, but I'm sure it is many. Would have liked to see another mining camp here and make this somewhat more efficient. We actually see a triple stable strategy going out from Totaldo, really banking on that cavalry advantage while slowly chipping down the walls. He will actually, I'm not sure what he tried to do here. Maybe he was thinking about bringing down the wall over here, but or he was just patrolling the shore for any sneak docks. He will sure find, if he continues on doing this, surely find the docks over here and the navy that KMA has slowly produced, and will take complete control of the navy. Yep, he will find that dock, and the wall will go down, and he cannot defend it because he lost naval priority. It's a really essential part of this strategy to get to work, as Totaldo is realizing here. Here we'll see KMA attempting to fight this. I wouldn't advise to it because he will just get killed. He's getting outnumbered so bad. It's having AFK war galleys over here. That's a little bit unfortunate. And we see more cavalry going out. KMA is really on a clock here as his gate is getting chipped away. And Cookie Bucker, I completely agree with you. People really have to build more town centers. In KMA's case, we are still at a grand total of 1 abandoned town center. And in Totaldo's case, we also have a astronomical number of 1 town center. A real shame to see that, because take advantage of that castle rate. We actually see the mangonels. Oh, and the pikemen actually from KMA. They will actually completely deal with this army. Oh my word. And actually, oh, that's a bit unfortunate. He's killing his own pikemen with the mangonel. That's a little bit unfortunate. He's now killing his own wall. He killed his own wall with the mangonels. The friendly fire did it. Oh, this is so painful. And now, if Totaldo sees this in time, he will actually have a chance to deal with his army and kill off the mangonels and kill off the elite skirmishers, which are both very weak against knights. And here Totaldo will actually pull out his entire navy to snipe off these mangonels. All these expensive units will die. The idea behind it was so good, but the execution of KMA was so poor. Again, the ideas he had, the wall off, the naval priority, the mangonel kite, the ideas were so good, but the execution is so poor that it just fails. We now see the Conquistador for KMA, but it's way too late. It's way too late. He can maybe fend off the weak knights that are over here, but Totaldo has the power to just run over his opponent, and it's looking so bad for our friend KMA that at such a nice start, such a clean start, went for that early naval priority and for the early wall off, really looking to get those strong units out fast and safe, and then just run over his opponent. But Totaldo he got enough time to react to it and just get the things that he needed, which were a strong navy and the feared Persian cavalry. He's massing up the knights with his triple stables, and he's actually now switching to some archery ranges. So some ranged units there too for Totaldo. And we will have to see if KMA is actually able to defend against this. I wanted to say he really needs to make a wall there, but there is no way he can do it. There's no way. The strong navy of Totaldo will just slay it. And here we see another attempt at regaining the naval priority, getting that sneak dock in for KMA, but I'm afraid it's too late. I'm afraid it's too late. Actually, a castle in a very odd spot there for Totaldo. I mean, or then build it in your base defensively, or build it really forward, but somewhere in the middle is kind of awkward. Seen it funny. We've also seen that a lot today. Nevertheless, the cavalry of Totaldo will actually go and kill off KMA. I'm not sure if KMA will actually see this. Doesn't really know that it is coming, but I'm sure he will have a suspicion, and the other dock will be spotted by Totaldo, so KMA has absolutely no chance of regaining that. Low on resources to actually, well, not to build docks, but to build any useful units. Really needs that gold, while on Totaldo's side, really stockpiled up, despite the lack of any extra town centers. Nevertheless, really interesting game. Would say the most interesting game of the day. And there we see the Conquistador actually on top of the hills are doing extra damage. So that will be some dead knights from all that damage that was turned in. But then he does not kite. And again, the problem here is in the execution. You really have to use the kiting potential that the Conquistador have in order to make the most out of the units. But he just isn't. And again, he's killing his own units with the mangonel. Really unfortunate execution there for KMA, and that was the last defense that KMA has, and that will be game. I'm very sure there's nothing that KMA will do against that. So really interesting game, really back and forth game. Really thought that this would go to KMA, judging from how it went in the early game and how the other games have went so far, but I guess it is not always the case. We see some halberdiers here coming out for KMA, but no, he will resign, and I think he is right to do so, because it was getting completely out of control for KMA. Again, as I said, I think the early game was played really well. I think the wall-offs were a really good idea, getting naval priority, but everything after that was just not good, and Totaldo just played it better. So congratulations to Totaldo for taking his first point in the tournament and getting himself on top of that group together with the Fate. It was the 5th game already, and after that I will go to the bathroom because I have to pee really bad. Then we will go to the next game and the last game, which will be Whopper Snore versus Flojo. we see that Totaldo killed a lot more units. So way more efficiency there. And the big reason for this is, of course, well, the economic strength of Totaldo, but also no execution, no micromanagement from the units of KMA, and just really not using the units to its full or even near its full potential. So if we can see, as we can see here, 1k gold mined more, not that surprising. Actually, now that I can take a look at the resources here, not too big of a difference, but it also ties in with the argument I made earlier about the execution. The execution of Totaldo's game was just so much better, stocking up the units in the dock, not losing them one by one, but just stocking them up to make one big push to regain that naval priority. So really good play there by Totaldo. Really delight to look at. We see the villager high here, 39 villager high for KMA. Such a shame. With the lead he had in the beginning, this could have been so much higher, and it would actually had a chance. And here we see it. It was actually the Totaldo that had more population throughout the entire game, but KMA that had the clear map advantage there. But slowly but steadily he lost grip of the game, and then it was over for him. So get the execution right, KMA. And I'm sure you can get a game or two in this group. I'm pretty sure. So really interesting game. I'm going to take a toilet break really fast. But after that toilet break, we will see the last game of today, which will be Whoppersnore versus Flojo, and which is shaping up to be quite an interesting one. So bear with me here for just a really tiny bit as I take a pee, and then we will go to the last game. See you guys in a minute. Yes, and I am back. Thank you for waiting, people. And I think it is worth the wait, because we will have the last game of today, Whoppersnore versus Flojo. Really interesting. Both players have some experience with Age of Empires 2 and with RTS games, are both experienced RTS players. So I am looking forward to watching this, and I'm actually very curious to see who will get out on top of this one. So without any further ado, let me load up that game. Flojo versus Whoppersnore. There it is. Give it some time to load up. Yes, there we are. And here we have, in the left side, in red, Flojo playing as the Mayans. Ooh. On the right, in blue, it is no one other than Whoppersnore playing as the Mongols. Very interesting, Mayans versus Mongols. We've seen the very first game of the group stage being Mayans versus Mongols, and we will also close out this group stage with Mayans versus Mongols. That is a funny coincidence there. So a matchup I've already talked about, but for the people who didn't see the Banana Bread versus Ruud Watering game, which is also, as I said, Mayans versus Mongols, I will show you the bonuses real quick. Let me get the Mayans here for you. The Mayans, really nice, strong archer civilization with a really strong early game advantage. With that first villager where you start with the minus 50 food, but you have that first villager, so you have just that little oomph to get your resources faster in the early stages and really get the aggressive early strategies that the Mayans are so good on going faster. And then you have the resources that last 20% longer. It's really nice, which this what it means is that, yes, when you kill a sheep, the sheep will slowly decay. And I'm not sure if this is true for trees. I don't think so. But it will mean that the trees and the decaying sheep and all the other resources will just last a little bit longer. So everything is just a little bit more efficient. You can get more resources out of your resources. Which is also very nice for that efficiency that you want so much in the early stages for the early aggression. Then, of course, you have the archers that cost 10% less in the feudal age, 20% less in the castle age, and 30% less in the imperial age. The Mayans are one of the strongest archer civilization, and with the already strong economic bonuses I've used, and the archer units are also that much cheaper. So nice to mess up the archers early game and get aggressive with them. And I'm looking forward to see if Flojo will actually use that advantage to his advantage. Then you have the very cheap and fast plumed archer, a good unit to mass up and just run your opponent over with in the Imperial Age, where the Mayans shine again after they had a little power dip in the Castle Age. Of course, because they cannot make any cavalry. Then you have the unique technology, which is El Dorado, which gives your Eagle Warriors plus 40 hit points, which makes them a little bit sturdier, little bit more of a front line for the plumed archers that you're surely messing up. And then you have walls that cost 50% less, which is really nice. In a situation of where we play Baltic, not that much of a bonus in my opinion, because you really wall off the choke points. Having said that, this is a really awkward map with only here a real opportunity and maybe here to wall off the sides. But on this side of the map, it's really open. So I think in favor of the Mayans, that really strong early game civilization to take advantage of that open spot, and for its opponent that doesn't really have a chance to easily wall it off. That's it for the Mayans. Strong real early on, and then strong real late in the game. And in the middle, they just have to make sure that they did enough damage to buy themselves enough time. Speaking about buying time, here we have the Mongols. Mongols, of course, known for their very potent Mangudai and very potent siege equipment. They're a cavalry archer civilization, of course, with cavalry archers firing 20% faster. So very strong when you reach that castle age, and you can make that the powerhouse harassment unit, which is the cavalry archer and of course the Mangudai. Then you have the light cavalry and hussar who have plus 30% hit points, which is a really nice mix with your cavalry archers. Light cavalry and cavalry archers is a very common combination of units because it really complements each other in terms of resources and in what they do. So really nice bonus there for the Mongols. And then of course we have the hunters that work 50% faster, which is really nice because getting that food in faster lets you get feudal faster and even castle faster, and that's what you need because the Mongols don't really shine in the dark and the feudal age. You really need that late to mid game power spike to win it. Then of course the feared Mangudai, maybe the most feared unit in the special unit in the game, because they have something that their cavalry archer has not, and that is a very fast firing time. Cavalry archers take a long time to actually get their arrows fired, and Mangudais do not, and that is one of the reasons why they are so strong and get you to pull out the hair out of your head because you just get kited to death. Then you have the drill, another very strong upgrade for the Mongols that makes your siege workshop units move 50% faster and actually makes you able to kite. We actually see a fast Rex here for Whopper Snore. And actually maybe an attempt to do some aggressive play. Whilst he is actually pulling away the sheep from his opponent. So some food advantage there for Whopper Snore. Sheep do not count as wild animals, so they do not get collected faster from the Hunter's Work Faster bonus. But nonetheless, a nice advantage there for Whopper Snore. It's the last bonus, and really not want to be glossed over. It is the team bonus that the Scout Cavalry, Light Cavalry and Hussar have that +2 line of sight. And it makes scouting early game that much easier. It makes spotting your resources easier. And it gives you more time to walk up to your opponent and actually see what he is doing. Now let's see if Whopper Snore did that. No, he did not. He used his time to actually get those extra sheep in. Not something also really important. A shame that he's not moving them up here and actually using the resources. But nonetheless, nice usage of the time of the Scout Cavalry. But I would like to see him move it. As I said, I am suspecting the skill level of these two players to be somewhat similar. So I am suspecting... Oh no! Not again. He destroyed it. Okay. I'm so sorry that I caught that on stream. But yeah, well, that is painful. And it's the second time we've seen it this tournament, that people think that you can drop your wood off in a mining camp. No, you cannot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say. And I was talking about the similar skill level. Well, Flojo built a wrong building there, but he noticed it on time, I guess, and built the correct building. Very good, very skilled. Nonetheless, I still think that this will be a close game. And in terms of points, I am actually correct. We see only a 10-point difference here, 20 to 10-point difference, which is maybe even a first for the tournament. It's always the case that one of the players had a really big lead real early on in the game, and that is not the case this time. So interested to see what's going on there. And there we see Flojo taking the lead with the feudal timing in the, minute 11. A very respectable feudal timing there. We see Whopper Snore following it up quickly. So both players being rather, well, not fast. I wanted to say fast feud, but that's not true. Just a normal timing, I would say. What surprises me is that the Mayan player has not built any unit production buildings whatsoever. And I would say that if you're playing against the Mongols that are really have that weakness, I would say in the early game, because they don't really have any bonuses, despite maybe having the Mongol bonus. Wait, did I forget to bonus? Yeah, the bonuses are still up there. Oh, I did click the button, but I guess I missed. Thank you for noticing that, Cookie Bucker, helping me out every time. So now that pesky bonus is out of the way, you can see the entire screen. You didn't miss too much, gladly. But there we see Whopper Snore going feudal age, and as I said, no real production build. There we see the forward building placement of Flojo. Do not really understand the placement of these buildings or place them here defensively in your base so your units can react to any aggression that's going on, or place them forward and really commit to that aggression. Doing nothing of those two in most cases isn't really that advantageous, but nonetheless we will see him do it anyway, and I'm sure that he will go for the archery range here. Yes, so we will see some archers. Curious to see if he will go single or double archery range. We see this villager walking on, which is telling me that he will probably build a second one. Or is he going to move up here and build a wall? Well, whatever the case might be, we will see the first archery range going down and he will instantly make those archers. Minute 15 is a little late for a push like this for the Mayans, but in terms of this game, it is okay. Whopper Snore doesn't really have any units left. He does have a production building though, and I'm interested to see if he actually has any information on this push. He does not. He has no clue that the buildings are here. And his scout is his scout is in his base. He did kill Flojo's scout, depriving him of any potential information there. We see aggressive movement of the first archers of Flojo coming in, trying to maybe do some damage there. Again, the two last games of the entire tournament where we see some early aggression, and here, as if Flojo is hearing my advice as I speak, is actually building the archeries in a much more efficient position, closer to the enemy base, getting those units there faster. And we will see if he waits, if he massed up some more archers, or that he goes in early and just denies maybe the gold. The gold placement of Whoppersnore is a little bit awkward, and I think also really interesting thing is that both players are not going for navy whatsoever. Case of the mines, not that strange maybe, since he was planning to go for this early archer push, which requires a lot of wood, and also the mines are not really that strong on the naval side, but still couldn't hurt to build just one dock and get some fishing ships out. The other side, Whoppersnore also not really interested in getting a dock and the fishing ships. And in his case, that would be really good, because he is the Mongols and he needs that extra food to get to the stage where he shines faster. And in this, with this situation, he won't. Interesting outpost there. I'm not sure why he built that there. Maybe to see if any units are trying to sneak past him. He will build a house to get himself off that supply block that he's probably in. Yep. So that's a little bit unfortunate there, but he actually got Whoppersnore off his gold, which again is real unfortunate. These are the forward goals I was talking about. Well, not really that forward. Whoppersnore should actually have walled this off, at least. So Whoppersnore fault, and he actually built militia to try to deal with this, but he can't. It's not what he needs. And he built archers, built the skirmishers. Whoppersnore is the unit to go to hard counter the aggression of your opponents. A bit unfortunate here that Whoppersnore plays right into the hand of Flojo and this archer push, and we will see that Flojo is able to do a lot of damage with this archer push. Whoppersnore actually reacting with another town center, and yes, here he realizes his mistakes. And why? Oh, he's making spearmen. They receive extra bonus damage from the archers. No, not the unit you want to make, Whoppersnore. I do like the skirmishers, and yes, is he stocking them up? Is he stock? Please say that you put your waypoint in the archer range. No, he did not. Ooh, but he does get them behind the other buildings here, so Flojo will not be able to pick them off one by one. I like the scouts here. I like the scouts here for Whoppersnore and the skirmisher. I like this composition a lot better than militia and spearmen and archers. He will be able to fend off this army with the composition he is currently making. We'll have to see how we will react. The unfortunate thing is Whoppersnore is not really making any attempt to regain gold income, despite the fact that there is a gold vein there and he knows about the gold vein. So it's a little bit unfortunate there, because he really needs that gold in this situation. He is committing all his resources to defense, so nowhere near the castle age there. Also his opponent trying to stock up some resources. So we will see him going castle age first, but that being said, there is still aggression in the base of Whoppersnore. The pressure being put onto him, but he does have all these skirmishers that are so good against these archers. We have all the 3 pierce armor, and these archers do 5 damage, so they only do 2 damage, because I am very good at math, and 5 minus 3 is indeed 2, so, well, that is how it is. And these units will have to run away, because there is no way they can fight these skirmishers, and these skirmishers will also be able to fend off these archers, and this will make it so that Whoppersnore has regained control of his own base, still has some units in the town center, tries to now lure the units in his base and then kill them off. Nice and easy. There we see, as I suspected, Flojo being Castle Age way earlier than his opponent. Whoppersnore in no way, shape or form is even close to getting that, and I think he realizes he is in a pickle, so I'm really interested to see what he is going to do about that. I know that Whoppersnore is an adaptive player. We've already seen it right now here with the skirmisher pick, and here with the defensive house placement. I'm hoping to see some more houses and just actually wall off this entire side of the map. There's really no reason for you to be here, and your opponent is building a siege workshop, so you might want to do something about that. Flojo, on the other hand, also not making a town center, unfortunately. Did make the crossbow upgrade and is massing up those crossbows yet again. Despite his opponent actually making skirmishers, so actually interested to see him doing that. I would have rather seen some Eagle warriors maybe. He does have the food and gold for it. And the Eagles are really good at soaking up skirmisher damage. Skirmishers are absolutely useless against that. And this is a really clunky movement there from Flojo, and actually giving his opponent a chance to kill off that ram. So little bit of a freebie there for Whoppersnore, and we have to see if he actually uses that to his advantage. Here the scout can just kill off the ram for free, and here we will see the crossbows actually getting killed off by the skirmishers. He doesn't. Oh, and he's actually moving down the hill. Ooh. Oh. Couldn't really get the kills down, but he actually killed and the villager and the ram there, so that's really good news for Whoppersnore, buying himself again more time, which he needs so much. I like the building placement of that watchtower defending his own gold. But Whoppersnore is in a big pile of trouble. He really needs that castle age, and once he gets that Mangudai, he has an answer against the crossbowmen of Flojo, but nevertheless it seems that he can deal with this. And let me drink some water because my throat is absolutely, what's the word? Destroyed. It's dry. Oh, it's drier than a game company publishing a mobile game to a hardcore PC audience. Here we see the skirmishers, and here we actually see the Mangonel from Flojo, and now we will see who out micros, who we actually see a full shot, going into that, in an entire pile of skirmisher units, and Whoppersnore really has to pay attention here not to use his entire army. Losing this army will absolutely lose him the game, I'm without a doubt in my mind. And he's using one unit again, and all these units are so low. One full shot and the units will die. Whoppersnore this time will notice it, and we'll have to see if he's actually able to move these units in a position to actually kill those Mangonel that is on top of the hill, doing so much damage. The scout can make it this time. A second Mangonel coming out, and this is where the pressure is really onto Whoppersnore. That's still feudal age, minute 28, and he has no way of going castle age. He has to commit all his resources to this defense. He's actually fishing here, which I like. This is the fastest way actually to get your food resources. And here an attempt to pick off those Mangonel with the scouts, but I don't know. No, he didn't make any armor upgrades, and he does have the +2 damage, so these crossbows actually tear through these scouts real quick. Still, he will try. The movement of the Mangonels is a little bit awkward again, but the crossbow will in time. You have to move your scout, dodge those arrows, and even a third Mangonel is coming out, and it's really looking bad for Whoppersnore here. Despite all the attempts to keep alive. Meanwhile, Flojo utilizing the fact that he has a very early castle age relative to his opponent with going triple town center and aggression, and that is, I think, where this game will be decided. Wappersnor really needs to kill this army if he want any chance at winning this game. He has to, yes, he has to destroy the mangonels with his army, but he just can't. It is not enough, and these units will die, and that means that the entire army of Wappersnor will be actually dead, and he doesn't really have any answer to the battering ram battering down his buildings, and he called for the GG, which is, I think, justified. He put up a real good fight, but it was not enough of the Mayan aggression. Yes, I think a real interesting game, and nice to see some aggression, and nice to close out this interesting second day of the tournament with some Mayan versus Mongols, and a very different style as the other game where we saw a real late game Mayan-Mongol fight, and here we see that the Mayans really do shine in that matchup. So, unfortunate for Wappersnor. Flojo will take the first point. Congratulations to Flojo for taking that first point in the group. And Flojo, with that win on Wappersnor, will look to maybe go first or second in the group. I'm interested to see his fight versus the Fate. That will be a treat to watch. Nevertheless, this also was very interesting. I'm hoping that both players will advance to the knockout stage, and maybe they will meet again. Maybe in the finals, maybe earlier. They can meet earlier than the finals with the way the tournament works, because 4 players of every group will advance. Then we have the military units killed. So much more units killed for Flojo. Yeah, the Mangonels really brought the hurt, and Wappersnor was just a tad too slow with the units he had to make. That was just a little bit unfortunate here with the gold collected. Absolutely dominated Flojo. Flojo dominated Wappersnor in that. There was no stone collected for Wappersnor, and that's really understandable because his priority were really with the food and the wood for the skirmisher production that really countered that archer push from the Mayans. A slow feudal age timing from Wappersnor, a respectable timing from Flojo, could be faster, especially with the strategy that he was doing, but a fast castle in that regard nonetheless. So, low villager count, but a really quick game, only 30 minutes, which is relatively fast for this tournament. And here we actually see a very close line, and then just the last fight with the 3 mangonels that were just too much for Wappersnor to hold, and then the end of the game. Very interesting game, and congratulations again to Flojo for winning his first game. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for the second day of the first round of the group stage tournament. Of course, we will be back Tuesday with the first day of the second round, where we will see the Highland games of the Dark Age and the Feudal Age group. We've already seen them play, and now we will see who will really go on top of that group and who will struggle for some points. Now, I will remind you that it is not allowed to pick the civilization you've already picked again in the same stage. So that means we've seen Wappersnor and Flojo play the Mayans and the Mongols, and they cannot play the Mayans and the Mongols again this stage. Also, you really have to pick Highland when you're getting your lobby done, because otherwise you have to do the game all over again, and that's not good. Really, thank you for watching, guys. It was a really long but nice evening casting some Age of Empires 2 games. If you like the stream and you want to help me out, please click that follow button. If you don't have an account, make an account, please, just for me. Making an account doesn't cost any money. Following doesn't cost any money, but it helps me out so much. So please do that if you want to support my stream. And if you want to support the players and the tournament, you can also donate money. You can find the link below. 50% of the money will go to the winners of the tournament, the first and the second place. And the other 50% will go right back into the production of this tournament and the tournaments to come. So if you're into that, please donate and find the link below. Then, as I said, I will see you Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the evening, where we will see the Dark and the Feudal Age, the group stage, day 1 of week 2. I thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to exit Age of Empires. I'm going to exit all the programs. I'm going to let you listen to some nice Age of Empires music. And I wish you all a nice evening. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Bye bye.